I'll never forget the night I learned that the person you trust most can also be the one to shatter you. It was a Tuesday, ordinary, boring, and cruelly deceptive. My name is Emily, and for 10 years, I thought I was happily married to my college sweetheart Mark. We were the couple people envied. We had the inside jokes, the long road trips, and the house that smelled of cinnamon every fall. To everyone else, we were the picture of stability. But behind the framed wedding photos and cheerful holiday cards, cracks were forming. Tiny at first, then big enough to swallow the life I thought I knew. It started with a single text message. I wasn't snooping, I wasn't suspicious. Mark left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered, and it lit up with a notification that simply said, "Last night was amazing." My heart stuttered. I stared at those 5 words, replaying them in my head like a broken record. My first instinct was denial. Maybe it was a coworker talking about a project, maybe it was innocent. But then the second message came, "Can't wait until Thursday." My stomach dropped so hard I thought I'd be sick. I confronted him that night. He didn't even try to deny it. Instead, he sighed, like I was the problem, and admitted he'd been seeing someone else for over a year. Her name was Lily, a woman from his office who, according to him, just understood him better. I remember gripping the edge of the countertop, the same one we used to decorate Christmas cookies on, and thinking, how could he say this so calmly? The days that followed were a blur of anger and humiliation. Mark wanted a divorce. He said it like he was asking for a coffee refill, flat, emotionless. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I replayed every moment of our marriage, wondering what I'd missed, what I'd done wrong. My friends told me to lawyer up, to fight for everything. But my parents, bless their gentle hearts, urged me to stay civil. Don't let bitterness define you, my mom said, easy for her to say. The divorce was brutal. Mark tried to take the house, the car, even a portion of the savings account I'd built long before I met him. Every mediation session felt like a knife to the gut. He came in with Lily sometimes, her smug smile daring me to break. But I refused to give them that satisfaction. I showed up in tailored clothes, head held high, even when my heart was breaking into pieces too small to count. And then came the betrayal I didn't see coming. My sister Rachel. I'd been leaning on her throughout the ordeal. Late night calls, tearful venting sessions, weekends spent curled up on her couch with pensive ice cream. She was my rock, till one afternoon, a friend sent me a photo that made my blood run cold. It was Mark and Rachel at a coffee shop, their hands intertwined across the table. At first, I thought it had to be a misunderstanding. But the next day, Rachel confessed. They'd been growing close. During my divorce. She said it wasn't planned. They just couldn't fight the connection. That was the moment I broke. Not because I'd lost Mark. By then, I knew he wasn't worth my tears, but because my own sister chose him. My family was torn apart. My parents tried to mediate. I couldn't look at Rachel without seeing a knife in her hand. I went no contact. Birthdays passed. Holidays were awkward. I spent my first Christmas alone, staring at a half-decorated tree and wondering how my life had unraveled so quickly. But here's the thing about rock bottom. It's where you find out what you're really made of. I started therapy. I went back to school to finish the degree I'd abandoned when Mark and I got married. I got a job in a marketing firm, where I rediscovered a version of myself I'd forgotten existed. The quiet, steady routine of healing slowly replaced the chaos of heartbreak. 1 year later, something unexpected happened. My boss asked me to lead a major campaign for a high-profile client. It was the kind of opportunity that could make a career. I threw myself into the project, staying late, pitching bold ideas, proving to myself that I was capable of more than just surviving. The campaign was a massive success, and for the first time in years, I felt powerful. Not because of anyone else, but because of me. Meanwhile, Mark and Rachel's fairy tale began to crack. Mutual friends told me whispers of fights, jealousy, and financial strain. Lily, the woman Mark left me for, had apparently dumped him the minute he moved out, and Rachel was now dealing with the same lies he once fed me. I won't pretend I didn't feel a flicker of satisfaction when I heard he'd been fired after missing deadlines at work. Karma, as they say, doesn't need an invitation. 2 years after the divorce, I ran into Mark at a grocery store. He looked older, thinner, tired. He tried to strike up a conversation, telling me I looked amazing, that he'd been thinking about the good times. I smiled, wished him well, and walked away without a second thought. That simple act, choosing to leave without anger, felt like reclaiming every piece of myself he'd tried to break. Today, I'm happier than I ever was with him. I travel. I laugh. I have friends who feel like family, and though Rachel has tried to reach out, I keep my distance. Forgiveness doesn't always mean reconciliation. Sometimes, it's simply choosing peace over poison. If there's one thing my story proves, it's this: betrayal can break you, but it can also build you. The people who hurt you don't define your future. You do. Sometimes the strongest revenge isn't revenge at all. It's living a life so full, so rich, that the people who betrayed you can only watch from a distance and wonder how you rose from the ashes they left behind. Because in the end, everybody loves a good Reddit story, but the best ones, they end with you winning.